Hello everyone. I've got some really good news. I, after much trying and much work, got my first ever motorsport client. And as you can imagine, I am absolutely chuffed by it. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of believing that I could do it and then thinking that it would never happen, to it finally happening, and I got my first one, and it's one of one, and if I never got one again, I'd be happy knowing that I got just the one. Anyway, I recently got one of these DJI mics for said client and said piece of work, and for some reason my Rode Video Mic Pro has been a bit funny at the minute. So I've retired that one for now, and we're going to use this. I'm not going to hold it like this the whole session, of course. But yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty handy. Let's leave that there. So, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name's Jordan. I am an amateur motorsport photographer and videographer, content creator, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I am currently on the journey and on a pathway to hopefully being able to make motorsport content my full-time gig. I spent many years actually coaching rugby, funnily enough, not motorsport at all, but I spent many years coaching rugby, teaching people how to play rugby, how to get better at rugby, and I guess I've kept that passion for coaching and for teaching other people and developing other people, and I'm bringing it into what I do now. Throughout the whole journey and kind of starting off, I've always felt like I wanted to teach other people. When I got into this gig, I had so many questions that I didn't really know the answer to, and when I actually went online to find help, there wasn't that much out there. So I wanted to be a part of a change and wanted to be part of a group of people that are going to be passing on some of the knowledge that they learn over time onto you guys. So in today's video, we're going to go back to what I was waffling on about earlier on, and that was my first client. Now, this was the question that I was really struggling with and asking quite a few people kind of along the way, and it's something that as soon as I posted that I'd had a client, that people were asking, how do you get a client? How did you get this? Getting a client, I think, looks totally different to lots of other people. So for this, all I can say about is my journey and how I would say I got there. So someone that I'd been connecting with on social media for a really long time had put an advert out on his page saying, looking for a videographer for this date. I was available that date, and I replied to the message, say, let me know if you want me, I'm happy to get involved. So after a process, I guess, of selecting people, he had a lot of people get in touch, and they chose me. The client actually chose me, and I can't tell you how good that feels after all the work I'd been putting in behind the scenes, that somebody had looked at my work and gone, I want him, I want his work. It just meant everything to me, and I didn't care what it was I was doing. I was just like, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, and I'm going to give it all that I've got. And that was the thing. It was my first, it might be my last. So when I went out there and did the gig, I just wanted to make sure that I was giving it my full effort and giving it everything I've got. It was not to be taken for granted, and I just wanted to get out there and do it. And anyway, pulled it off. We had a great time, and yeah, the video came out really cool. I'm super happy with it, and yeah, the team that I worked with were absolutely amazing. We had a great day. But anyway, less of the waffling about me and what was going on. Let's talk about what I would say actually got me the job in the first place, and what I think that you could do if you are looking to get yourself a client. So, step one in the process, you need to make sure that you have got a solid body and portfolio of work that you want to showcase. So whether that means that you're a photographer, you're a videographer, you work in the marketing side of things, you work in athlete development, that sort of thing, you need to make sure that you have got a portfolio of work. So for me, that was having a good selection of images to go through and some video content as well. I found it really hard to kind of navigate whether I was going to go down the path of a photographer or a videographer, because so many people say, oh, you need to stick to one or the other. And to be honest with you, I enjoy both and I love both elements of it. There's some videographers on Instagram that I follow I absolutely love. I love looking at it and I love the idea of me possibly being able to create video content, and the same goes for photographers. I just love photography. I think some of the work that's currently coming out and has come out of 2024 has been incredible. I think with all with the amount of people that are part of it and this, the amount of photographers and videographers, it's just, the game is just going higher and higher and higher, and I think that just elevates us all to be so much better. Like, honestly, some of the people out on the UK circuits at the minute are just, they're absolutely phenomenal, and I just love it. So yeah, I've got a passion for both, and I've kind of done both. So try my best not to go too much off the topic of the conversation, portfolio of work. You're going to need to have a solid portfolio of work, whatever medium that is that you choose. And something else to focus on as well is to make sure that you've got a vast range of stuff. So let's take, for example, motorsport photography. You are a motorsport photographer. You need to make sure that you are focusing on lots of different elements of motorsport photography. We could think in cars on track, you've got fan interaction, drivers, teams, that sort of thing. Don't just go to the same places. And I know travel can be difficult. If you're tucked away over towards Snetterton, getting over to Alton Park is a long old way. But I would say if you are really wanting to make a go of this, then you need to start moving about a lot. Get yourself to the different track, trying out the different techniques, panning, whatever it is. Just make sure you've got a vast range of stuff going on. Your portfolio is essentially your proof and your evidence that you can do what you say it is you do. So, step one, portfolio. Get a good one. Get as whatever you can. Plenty of work, plenty of variation. Off you go. Now, step two. This is something that at the start of the year, and certainly in previous years when I've done photography, is something that I really, really neglected. And that is the networking. I was definitely much more someone that wanted to keep myself to myself. I wanted to go on my own journey with it. I was like, well, I just want to do it my way. I'm not really interested too much in hearing how other people necessarily did it. I'm just going to do my own thing. And honestly, that was a huge mistake. My social media didn't benefit as a result of that. My portfolio didn't benefit. My knowledge base didn't benefit, and my skill set didn't benefit either. I definitely think that my quality of imagery has improved since reaching out to people, since chatting to people, since networking with other photographers and videographers. Because they'll always pass on, most of the time, the people that you're chatting to, they're passing on those little gems of little things that maybe you didn't realise, or try this spot, try this setting, have you thought about doing this? And that will come from networking. So for that, if the next event you want to be going to, if you see a photographer there or a videographer, they cross your path, don't do what I did and just kind of keep your head down and keep walking. Say hello, have a chat. If you're in the same spot, say, almost offer them advice. Oh, found a really cool spot over here. Come and have a look. And then you can build a conversation from that. You never know who you might be talking to. The person that you might be stood next to, you didn't realise, is actually Drew Gibson, and you haven't said hello to him and chatted to him. As well with networking, what we want to be thinking about is networking with the teams and the drivers. Now, when I say this, I don't mean, the likes of Formula One, WEC, that sort of thing, because the actual access that we get into those paddocks and we get to those teams, especially face to face, is very, very difficult. We don't have paddock access. We can't just go into the garages and say hello. And usually speaking, these guys already have lots of different people working for them. But if we start looking at the different levels of series, particularly a bit lower down, especially here in the UK, these are the events that we really want to be attending if you want to possibly gain some clients. Naturally, when it comes to motorsport, I want to be shooting British GT, possibly on a European GT season. That would be absolutely fantastic. But the access that I actually have to those areas and to those drivers is very limited. On some of the other events, particularly the BRSSC events, these are the ones where I've actually been able to go and speak to drivers and going into the garages, speaking to the teams, saying hello. I would say I've come up with far more connections from these smaller events than I would have done from shooting the bigger events. And I think that's something that definitely gets overlooked at the start. This doesn't mean stop shooting British GT, stop shooting Formula 1 or whatever. get yourself out there. The British GT is absolutely class and I love it. But if you are going to try and get some possible networking with drivers, with teams, you want to be targeting those smaller events, I would say. Most people in the game, I would say, are super friendly and they're always up for a bit of a chat. Something in this day and age that we have great access to in terms of our networking is these things. We've got phones, we've got social media, we need to be using it. That is why it's called social media. It is to be social. Reach out to different photographers, different teams, different drivers, and just have chats. Say, great race at the weekend, you did awesome. Something along those lines. Messaging the teams, I got this photo of you, tagging the teams on any race that you've done. So anything that you've captured, I would definitely recommend get it out on socials, tag the drivers, tag the teams, tag sponsors, whatever it is. Just get it out there. The more you do this, the more likely you are to be able to spark up some sort of conversation. Who knows, from that conversation, they might ask you to do another gig. The same goes then for the photographers and videographers. Think about the different videographers and photographers that you know are already working with race teams. The calendar is really extensive. You know, as motorsport photographers, some of them are going here, there and everywhere, travelling all over the place. They can't quite go to every single race. So you never know. You might pick up some jobs through another photographer or videographer. But let's be honest, if they don't know you or you've never spoken to them, you've never engaged with them in any way, shape or form, whether that be online or in person, you're likely to have not built up any rapport. So if an opportunity maybe does arise, they won't be looking for you. Your term of it's not what you know, it's who you know is super relevant within this. We can very much take into consideration how much your skill level is going to benefit you as well. Please don't be like me at the start where you really devalue that networking, especially with other photographers and videographers. If you're heading to a track and you see people, especially in the creative game, and you see each other as competition, I just don't think that it's going to work for you. I don't think it'll work out. You can't see other photographers as a threat, essentially. You need to see each other as possibilities to learn, possibilities to, to gain advice from, to, maybe even gain a client from. Like I said earlier, I know of different people that have been to tracks where they haven't had any work lined up and someone's got in touch with them, said, are you free for half an hour? A team that needs some photos, I'm currently engaged, I can't do it. And imagine you absolutely nail it, you deliver for them, you smash it. The next time they have an opportunity that needs, and a space that needs filling, you are going to be on that list of people they're looking for. Without that networking opportunity and that little bit of chat, whether it be online or in person, I think is going to make a huge difference, and I have no doubt that it was a huge factor into me gaining my first client. So let's quickly summarise what we've kind of gone over today. Step 1, nail your portfolio, get some work out there. Mix different cars, lots of different tracks, different variations of spots, you name it. And secondly, do not neglect networking. Get yourself out there online, set yourself up an Instagram or a Facebook page, join some of the Facebook groups that are out there. There's absolutely loads. Post your photos in there, engage with others, chat to others. In fact, I would say the first thing that you're going to do after you've watched this video is, if you've got Instagram or Facebook, is you're going to go on them, you're going to find 10 motorsport photographers that are currently working, and follow each and every single one of them, look at their work, study their work and engage with them. It's super easy to do, it takes 5 minutes, and most of us have got phones or computers, because you wouldn't be watching me if you didn't have either of those things. So, get at it. I sincerely hope that you guys can take some of the stuff that I've said to you on board today, and hopefully it will really advance your career. I hope you can tell that I'm super passionate about this, and I really want to help other photographers and videographers develop their skills for the future. Before you go, please leave me a like if you enjoyed this message, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.